when she was all remote, I think she really got tired of seeing my face because my office is not that big and was literally sitting 3 feet apart from each other, you know, all day, every day. Then we go home and sit at the same dinner table and
Yeah, and it works both ways.
yeah.
If you need to go back to school here.
What are they doing at WSU?
They're starting, so she doesn't have to go back until first week of February is when they start. She's been working as a full-time para out at open schools there for December and January. Snatched her up and put her to work, which is good.
Right.
So they kind of just rotate her around from classroom to classroom to cover for teachers that are out, paras that are out. And it's been good. Plan was that she had an extra month, she could just sit at home and watch Netflix and enjoy life. No, that's some other plans for her. What grade your niece in?
7.
7.
Yeah, and it never fails. I'll be in the middle of, you know, reconciling a 12-page parts bill. Hey, Shannon, hey, everyone. And I'm like, okay, I love you. I will find my patience and we will stop what I'm doing. And yes. Okay, now can I find where I left off here before? So yeah, I am blessed to at least have that 2:30 time that I can take on the bigger focus
Yeah.
projects and some of the more mindless envelope stuffing type stuff in the later afternoon. Been quiet around the shop the last 2 days without Peter.
I bet.
Really, you know, all evidence points that he is the chaos creator, so.
Yeah, I forgot that Logan came back there and I'd seen him out there too. That's good. He's amazing.
He's really good with the customers. He may not have the experience that Mark and Skeeter do on writing the estimates and knowing the repairs, but he's really good working with the customers. He takes that role very good.
That's important. I think that
Right, I knew
customer
better
service skills
than
are
to
hard
try
to
to
teach.
stab that with.
Well, we've made all the kids work
I got
in
it, I
food
got it, I
service,
got
either waiting tables like at
Oh,
a
sorry.
party or Sonic.
There's my napkin.
Like, you don't understand, you will learn. Your paycheck comes from making that customer happy, and that applies in so many other industries, so they've all
That's annoying.
through high school. So, and you know, we teasing Deidre, she just turned 13 and they're like, hey, you have exactly 364 days to find a job. We made all the other kids at 14. I said, I don't care if it's babysitting or helping, you know, it doesn't, but something just to start learning. So she's like, maybe I'll work at Sonic. And then my mom's church was asking her if she would be a piano accompanist because she plays piano very well. Well, does it pay? Because Shanda says I gotta get a job. I said, honey, it's not about the paycheck. That would count to teach you responsibility and accountability with no paycheck needed. That will pass. So but I thought that, I'm like, well, I must have got that through her head because that was her first question. Yeah. If we could just get the, you know, clean up your room thing to sink in.
Brian, who put together the strategic plan PowerPoint
PowerPoint.
that you gave us on the thumb drive?
Kind of a compilation, so we started it 3 years ago when we were going through the last assurance argument visit. And then it's just, so originally it was Jack and I that put the first version of it together, and then it's changed hands now, so Mark and Mark works a lot with it right now. So he's the one that's doing the updates.
I was just wondering if it was somebody I could hire to do
Well, I'm sure the Mark would be
a
absolutely.
compilation of some stuff that I need.
Yeah, I don't say that I have those skill sets, or I know what it is that I want it to look like. I know the content, the design piece never turns out to be good. I think we used Publisher, maybe on originally there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. That seemed to be a little bit easier to work with than what was.
Okay.
We have resources here.
That do that kind of thing?
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. Who do I talk to?
Well, any of the IT guys, Michelle teaches a lot of the PowerPoint. I don't know if she does Publisher. Michelle Greathouse can do that. So I'd probably start maybe with Andrew or one of the IT guys.
Okay.
Even Brooks, our creative designer. That's probably the better option.
I just need some help gathering the information to local stuff.
Yeah, Melody would probably be one. She does a great job. Graphics and content there too.
Okay. Hello?
How are we?
I can remember when she was at that though.
No.
Her dad was my first sergeant.
Oh, is that right?
Who's that? Jarbo. Jim Jarbo, he's sheriff over in Trinidad.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, we fixed your car.
He was
Yeah,
a
I know who you're
sergeant
talking about.
here.
And like,
Speedy when I
that's
started.
like
Except
meals
he ate.
for 4 days.
I know this.
So good.
Yeah, it is. a 10-pound chicken.
Shared mine with normally, we. Just a little bit.
It's good.
I ate the broccoli, it was awesome.
I know, I usually take the other half home and that's my lunch set at my desk the next day.
Probably say it.
Too good to let it go to waste,
No,
but
I
too much to eat at once.
I share it with Steve. when we get home. Of course, he always checks out the dessert.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, Scooter usually goes for my dessert, but it's safe tonight since he's in Tulsa.
Thank you for checking on me, you're so kind.
It's nice of me to share the dessert, but I don't know that I necessarily have enough to make it home.
You have not shared your dessert?
No, I don't do a very good job.
I know.
And then I gotta figure out which girl I want to share it with.
Gotta do first.
Or.
Eat it.
Yeah.
It's not the time of year to be eating,
I know,
remember?
I know.
Steve never passes up a chance to eat Marie food, let me tell you.
Yeah, she was pretty brokenhearted. She couldn't do the Christmas party there this year. She always looked forward to trying to do.
She what?
Being able to do that Christmas party.
I look forward to going and sampling what she's trying, so.
Yeah. Yeah, and she has Sarah, and Sarah's really started to do a really good job on desserts and things like that.
changed from the notification.
Did it get brighter in here?
And wrote notes. Like there was something that I made now for a specific point of the.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know if you had anything special, if not, I can just pull it.
Nothing that I know of except for that list that I sent you for the employees.
Okay,
You still need me, Andrew?
yeah, if you would come up for just a second.
Good to see students back on campus.
Oh,
It's been a
yeah.
long break there from having them leave at Thanksgiving time.
This is like you drive by the parking lot.
I know.
That's nice. I'm like, oh, parking not quite so empty.
Dave, you been over to see the criminal justice lab there? Yeah. Just walked over there and looked at it there today. Turned out good.
All original. I mean, we finally got new carpet in there with the, you know, when I was there, too.
Yeah, Brandy said they started pulling things off the walls and they could find some green things, they found some yellow things, some brown things. Bright colors at one time.
Back then, when I was over there, the polycom in the middle classroom,
Yeah.
I had to run the wires because IT was waiting on maintenance.
Move project along.
Just, let's do it and ask for forgiveness.
Why I see and.
Say I had a filter, you know, clean filter or whatever. Went up to IT and they said, just reset it. That was Andy. Go into that and she goes, you get your ass up there and get it.
I was in at Subway last night and got to talk to the kiddo that works at night. His grandfather was the INS guy here for a while. And after he retired, he worked part-time for our criminal justice.
Bob Ball?
Mhm. And
Yeah, he'd always come out and do the phone-a-phone. When it was criminal justice night, we had PD, SO, everybody out here calling.
What was his name?
Bob Ball,
BAUM was, no,
BOHM,
huh?
BOHM.
Yeah,
The other one was Crittenden. What his first name was.
I realized they shut down the subway over in that old mall there.
yeah.
Went there yesterday to get lunch.
I haven't been there in quite a while.
Shows how long it's been since they subway.
That's the first one they had.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Been eating healthy.
The other one was a convenience store. There across from the high school.
Yeah, I didn't hear it. Oh.
I guess I knew it, but I'd forgotten it. The Pizza Hut out there on
Taylor.
North Highway 83 is, something else is going in there.
Oh, I didn't know they shut down.
I noticed the Pizza Hut on campus was finally open for indoor,
What?
Wow.
finally open for inside seating. Just the other, I mean, I noticed it just since we've been back, but I mean, I don't know.
Well, I'm sure most of their business is either lunch buffet, which is, of course,
Yeah.
a little different now with
What's
COVID.
going in where Leopold Hospital was?
There at Kansas and Fleming?
Huh?
Kansas and Fleming there?
No,
Well,
at Leopold Hospital over there on Third.
it's a medical clinic.
It's just medical work.
Because I understand. You mean down there where Daryl Mitchell used to have? his-
No, this is over on Third and
By the hospital, 2 blocks. from
where,
the
where,
hospital.
where Leopold Hospital was.
I don't know.
Many years Maybe it's
ago.
more.
Maybe it's just somebody, yeah, somebody said maybe it's parking.
Oh, I think they're just tearing it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was torn down on Kansas and some
Fleming?
street?
Swimming,
Just
Had
office
the
complex.
office complexes and
a couple of
Attorney.
attorneys, and yes, white
It's gonna
cinder
be-
block, almost strip mall looking.
Pamela Stewart's building the
No, it would be
Care
Kansas
clinic.
and JC
She's,
Street.
no,
Kansas and JC
No.
Street.
well, it's gonna be a care clinic.
yeah, it's an urgent care
Yeah.
clinic like what's in Dodge and Liberal.
Yeah.
Steve's working it.
There by the Great Plains Credit Union? Or-
Yes,
What was there before? Just a
just office buildings.
Because I was like, I
2
think
office
that.
buildings.
Yeah, it's
Two
just a
office
little
buildings, but they had,
Oh,
cinder
I
block
remember,
building,
and there was
single
like
story.
an attorney and,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, now I remember.
and they
I was like,
had really let it
the
go down. I
orthodontic
mean,
place is gone, and then
Used
I'm
to
like,
be
no,
the-
it's down a block.
Used to be the cable company was in there.
Okay, yeah, that, I couldn't remember, and
the KU Extension
Well,
office was
yeah.
there for a while.
Who?
The KU Extension office was there for a while.
And so
We let
there's
them in
law.
town?
Huh?
We let them in town?
Oh, one time, I guess. We've been suffering ever since they left.
for sure.
Give them
One more
headache
bite,
for that.
I've got to stop. So much for getting ready for Mexico in February 17th. Cross your fingers, knock on wood.
Leave if you
Hope all
don't
these
get your work
vaccines are
done.
getting distributed and everything's a little more settled. No delusions that it'll be, gone, but better every day, right?
Do we have any public comments?
This is one area where I wish we
Good month, Marilyn.
went silent.
Sure, I'm glad I didn't eat lunch.
Yes, we are. This is one area that I don't mind having.
By law, we don't have to have that part in there, so.
I know. For some reason, they just don't have a plan that they can't be in our faces.
Have 6 o'clock, everybody ready?
Yep.
Yes, sure. Okay. Okay. It's 6 o'clock and we'll go ahead and start the January 12th, 2021 Garden City Community College Board of Trustees board meeting to order. And once again, we're here with remote for everyone else to chime in. But with that, we'd ask everyone to please announce your name when you're speaking, just so if there's no confusion, as well as we'll be doing roll call just to make sure that we get everybody's input on there and for the books. And so we'll go ahead and start with roll call. This is Blake, present.
Shanda Smith, present.
Marilyn Douglas, present.
Beth Tedrow, present.
David Rupp, present.
Leonard Hitz present.
Okay, great. We'll go ahead And move on to comments for myself. I want to just personally thank everyone we had in between our last board meeting and this board meeting. We had a board retreat that was back on December 12th. It seems quite a while ago, but anyways, we had mainly discussion about the policies or the process of board self-evaluation and the implementation of something to that degree, as well as kind of ramping up and beefing up the evaluation for the president. We already had kind of something to get going with. I believe everyone has the president's annual performance evaluation that we had kind of went through and added stuff. I believe that's up to date. Is that right?
This is the revised.
That's the revised copy. So everyone can kind of take a look at that. I think we had kind of discussed, and for anyone that didn't chime into the meeting, we had discussed that we had a pretty good foundation with the president's performance evaluation, modifying some things, and that we were going to task ourselves of keeping up with that. But one thing that certainly we want to relay to the community is the need and the importance of us to do the self-evaluation from the board standpoint, something that also HLC is looking more into. And being the fact that we kind of came into the agreement that we just don't have much of anything to start with, that relying on or utilizing an ACCT as kind of a working partner. This also kind of ensures that from not only from the community standpoint, that this is kind of an unbiased and a process that ACCT will evaluate and calculate all the data and things like that. There is a fee to that, of course, and we all kind of looked at that fee as at least acceptable for the first year to see kind of get us kickstarted. But we're going to get more into that here in the next few months, I assume, talking with ACCT. But Ryan, did you happen to, did we ever get kind of feedback as far as feedback with the president's evaluation? I know they kind of roped it into a whole separate fee, but would they be able to discuss that on a board retreat or something like that? Is that?
Yeah, so what they've proposed is if the board did go forward with ACCT as far as on the board self-assessment, then as part of that there, then they would work with the board or designees of the board there on critiquing and consulting with the president's evaluation.
Okay.
As part of that fee. So I mean, that's
good.
What we received back from ACCT on that end.
Okay. Okay.
The fee for the self-assessment would be $3,000.
That's right. But as we kind of discussed and want to make it very clear that there's a lot that goes into that evaluation, and then also, you know, instead of having six minds kind of come up with something that we're going to evaluate ourselves on, best to get kind of a third party and really make it as independent and keep it off the board, and then have somebody from the college tabulate that as well as with ACCT. So besides that, that's kind of the update from the board retreat, which was good. I think a lot came out of it. Other than that, we welcomed students back Monday, the 11th. It's nice to see students and faculty back on campus. It's never quite the same when the campus is so empty, but hopefully everyone had a great holiday and stayed safe. Few accolades, John Deere program. I know everyone probably got word of that, but John Deere program gets evaluated every year through a variety of criteria, including instructor development, internships, dealer advisory board utilization, and program enrollment, the image, the processes, all the scholarships and safety. basically 4 categories of the College of Tomorrow levels: platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. And I believe in the past we've had back-to-back gold. Is that correct?
Correct.
And I know that was always one of those things. It was, I mean, very, very slim or very difficult to get to that platinum level. And this year, happy to announce that GCC John Deere program did actually obtain the platinum level, which is outstanding. Brings in more scholarship money, is that right? And some other development for the instructors. So congratulations to Gabe Wigner and all the hard work and commitments of that program. Excellent job. Something to be very proud of. The Upward Academy celebrated their educational achievements in December of 2020 during the fun social distancing gathering. The nursing program got recognized. I'm sure most seen that. That was shot out around the community, but ranked within the top 100 schools in the Plains region. 3rd overall in the community college region. So congratulations to the nursing department for their hard work, their faculty, and the dedication to that. And then MLK Day, Martin Luther King Day, is this Monday coming up, the 18th. April Rain is our guest speaker. And I don't know if we got student government maybe tonight, or
It'll be, yeah.
I'll leave it to them. Maybe they'll talk more about it, but basically April will be our guest speaker, and so we look forward to that. And that is that going to be open public, or since it's
It'll be
live
virtual this year.
virtual? Okay.
Mhm.
I figured kind of that. Other than that, we will go into, that's all I have. But the introduction of new employees, we got a few.
We do have 3. Yeah, I'll have Colin start off by introducing Jeff Tatum.
Okay, Coach Tatum, can you go ahead and show you? There you go. There you go. I'd like to introduce Jeff Tatum as our new hire for our Director of Athletics. So don't know if you guys have any questions for him, or Coach, if you want to say a few words.
Well, I am definitely glad to be back here in Garden City, and my wife's also excited to be back, and we just got to get her here in June.
Awesome.
We're glad to have you.
Well, thank you very much. And that's an honor coming from you, Miss Tedrow.
How's it going so far for you? Are you getting a lot of interaction with the coaches? What's your feel for them?
I tell you, whoever hired these guys did a real good job. They've been a pleasant to work with so far. Most of them are young, and all of them are energetic, and they really care about the student athletes. And I'm looking forward to working with them. And I know this semester is going to be real busy with us playing every sport in the spring. And and I know when we get started on the 24th or 25th, 26th, whatever, I know that there are no days off. So really, I'm glad Dawn's not here. She wouldn't get to see me anyway. So, but excited to be back here, excited to work with these guys and the new adventure that's along the way. I know I'm going to miss coaching, being daily active with the kids day in and day out, but also excited to work with good people, and glad to be back here at Garden City Community College.
Coach, this is Marilyn Douglas. I'm very happy you're here too, and it's gonna be hard to not call you Coach, so just get used to it. What is the plan for the public watching or participating in athletics?
As of right now, it's a KJCCC rule that we cannot have any fans at any of the athletic events at this time. They're going to go back and reevaluate on the 1st of February and vote, and hopefully they will up it to where we can have 25% capacity at all the ball games. And then we also, for a safety thing, every athlete before they enter the building has to be temperature checked And then one of the things that we're experimenting with, and we talked about a little bit last night with the BAA, is how we're going to distribute tickets. And we really hadn't got started on that because we don't know when we're going to be allowed to have fans. So it'll be a little bit different where it'll be computerized. You'll kind of go online to purchase your tickets if you're not a season ticket holder. One of the things that you'll have to do is get in line pretty quick because they're going to be very, very limited. And at this time, we feel like we're only going to be able to have 25% capacity at all the athletic events. And hopefully as it goes along, especially with the vaccine coming in, maybe we can expand it to 50, and hopefully by next fall, it'll be 100% capacity.
So that's even for outside venues?
Yes, at this time.
Okay.
One of the things that and they may change that for the outside venues is because it is outside and the air can circulate a lot better. One of the advantages that we have as a college being outside is we're not in a bowl. So hopefully when they take into consideration the number of people that can attend a football game, that because the air will come straight through the stadium and not circulate inside the stadium, that we will be able to have a little bigger capacity at the football game.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you looking at it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Hey, Jeff, I'd like to add, I mean, I don't know if we'd have to worry about these guys getting tickets if they sign up to help us out, right? But scoreboard, or you guys are guaranteed to get in if you help us out.
We need all the free help we can get, and so it'll be nice for you guys. I'll find you something to do. You can't find volunteers, I promise.
Jeff, you had any thoughts on adding more people to the board of BAA? What's your thoughts on that? You need to get about 3 times more.
One of the things that I'm gonna really try to do is get out and try to reach out to the people that I knew when I was here last time, who have gotten out of the, gotten away from the BAA for whatever reason, lost interest, or, the people that they knew that were here have gone. Just, sometimes just a friendly invitation a lot of times will bring people back. So that's one of the things, is just try to encourage people to come back to Garden City. And I know part of it's probably you can't come on campus, so sometimes you get out of a habit of coming to athletic events or being part of something. So once I get kind of settled in my job and understand what is my role here at Garden City, hopefully I know what free time I got and be able to get out and meet people and encourage them to come back. And if you guys have got anybody that you need me to go out to lunch, because I love to go out and eat lunch every day. So I've been eating by myself. So it'd be nice to have somebody to sit down and have a conversation with. And believe it, for you people that don't know me, I'm really shy. I'm not really an outgoing person. So, but seriously, I enjoy being around people. And anybody that I need to encourage, please let me know. Anybody that you think needs a little bit of encouragement, and it comes from the athletic department to contribute, whether it's to the athletic department or to Garden City Community College itself, do not hesitate to call on me, because believe it or not, this will be my 35th year next year in junior college athletics. So I understand how important the complete school is, from the leadership that you guys, all the way down to the janitorial people that clean the building. Every one of us have a role, and it's a very important role. No role's too small.
Jeff, I'll turn that around at you. Anytime you think I can help you, as I've told you several times, don't hesitate to call me. I can go about any time.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Probably know as many of them as you do.
I'm sure you
A couple more.
I do, but well, I appreciate that.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you. Next up, Kelsey. There she is.
Yes.
All right, well, welcome, Kelsey. Thanks for joining us. Kelsey Bradford is our new admissions representative with the admissions department. Kelsey, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I just have to thank everybody at Garden City for welcoming me and making me feel at home here. I'm originally from Leavenworth, so I'm 6 hours away from home. And a lot of people at home are like, why are you moving out to the middle of nowhere where it's dusty and no trees? But honestly, I've felt at home being out here, and I just can't thank everybody enough. And I'm really excited to see how I can help Garden City grow from here.
Welcome.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Yep, thank you guys.
All right, is that all you have there, Colin?
Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay. And then we'll also have, you want to introduce Maddie? See if we can bring up Maddie Ryder. She on there, Andrew?
Hello.
Hey, Maddie.
Hi.
How are you?
Doing well. How are you all?
Good.
Good, thank you.
So Maddie Ryder is our new public relations coordinator. And Maddie, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I just wanted to say how excited I am to be here tonight. I get the opportunity to take notes during this and write up a press release after this. So I am very thankful to be in this role, and my department has been awesome, just as everyone on this campus has. So I feel very welcome and very blessed to be here.
Welcome.
We're glad you're here.
Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maddie.
I don't know if Jim Gilbert.
Andrew, is Jim Gilbert, is he on?
Nope, that's
No?
all.
That's all we got.
Thank you.
Okay.
It really feels good that they all felt welcome here.
Oh, okay, I just. Okay.
Wasn't he hired after everything was suspended?
Pardon?
Wasn't he hired right after everything was suspended?
Jim? Yeah.
Okay. Well, for the next month then, we got some new hires to introduce. Moving on, we have the consent agenda for the approval. At this time, is there anything anyone would like to see be pulled for further discussion on the consent agenda? And if not, I would entertain a motion to pass the consent agenda.
Make a motion that we approve it as they're written.
I second.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda by Leonard and a second by Marilyn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We'll do a roll call real quick. This is Blake, aye.
Shanda, aye.
Marilyn, aye.
Beth, aye.
David, I.
Leonard, aye.
All right. Moving on, January is when we reorganize the slate of officers for the 2021 year. There is quite a bit. Generally what we do is go through the, well, really we look at the election of officers, the chair, and then if that changes, then do we switch immediately, right? The rest of it gets carried off by the new chair. Okay. So, and then we work through basically everything. Some of the depositors and that are all approved at the same time. A lot of those don't change. So with that, we get into the election of officers, the chair. Previously held by myself, but I would, one thing I would say is we kind of talked about it last time, and I think the board, just keep this in mind, the alluded to from Pamela as far as what HLC is looking at, not so much looking at as far as how we do the officers, but that there's a method, and maybe Dr. Ruda, you can kind of explain too, we were kind of talking about this, but as far as, you know, that there's a system in place, and we kind of got to that last time where we say, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that the vice chair has to go to the chair or vice versa, but that HLC is likely to see some organization in place or a methodology, or can you allude to that a little bit, Dr. Ruda?
Yeah, I mean, where there isn't necessarily written language within accreditation, I mean, exactly like what you allude to there, what HLC is looking for is, you know, is there a systemic process? Is there systems in place, protocols in place for how it is that we bring on new officers, how we bring on new members after election? You know, what are the training protocols that we have as far as being able to bring new members, new officers on board, up to speed with policy governance, you know, mechanisms of what would need to be known there for running effective meetings, governance of that nature. So, you know, I think one of the things that we started to put into place, and one of the things that we definitely need to look at there, particularly with our next accreditation visit, you know, being a year and a half away, is truly being able to look at, as a board, you know, defining and really envisioning what it is that process is for a chair, and then with the vice chair being able to transition and bring that vice chair along there to where there is some succession planning, there is some continuity planning, you know, and so again, where there isn't language, where there isn't anything specifically from HLC that says thou shalt do this, there is expectations that there are going to be systems, there's going to be processes, and there's going to be some thought that goes into how it is that how we transition and how we be able to transition, you know, not only through the chair, but also the vice chair and other appointments and roles that we have there at the board level then as well. So, you know, again, as we're going into the accreditation visit here in a year and a half, you know, those are things that I think we have been very methodical and been thinking through, but I think we need to, you know, continue to think through those and really envision how we want that process to be, and looking at continuity planning for sure is on that end with who we have in chair, and then the transition with vice chair. I think there's, you know, probably the only other thing that I would say, and this is something that hasn't necessarily been standard practice, but I think it is something there that I've seen at other institutions, and something there again as we're envisioning what this process is going to look like with our board. You know, is there something then with past chairs? Is there a role or expectations that we want to have as far as in board responsibilities where, you know, the past chair is also helping to be able in that transition afterwards and things there too. So, you know, we don't have that delineated in responsibilities or board responsibilities at this point, but that's another avenue to pursue or to look at there on a lot of that transition phasing in there as well.
Agree. Yeah. And just in my 2 cents, as far as, you know, in the last, you know, 2 years as being chair, which I've been honored and appreciated it. It does take a lot. I mean, and like I said last time, you know, that you get kind of 2-3 months into it, or 4 months into it, maybe even 6 months, and it's just that you start you know, getting the role of the chair or what's expected for you, and then also working with you, Dr. Ruda, or any president, or, you know, in that sense. So there is a little bit of a learning curve, and certainly it could come into their own. And sometimes, like I alluded to last time, is by the time you do get into that end of that year, it's like, boy, you just got rolling with it. So, but something, all things to consider, you know, and how we want to go about that. But I think deeper discussion and looking at that may be a possibility. So, comments from the board, suggestions, ideas?
I think it'd be helpful to have some sort of plan for, I mean, how do we know who's willing to be chair, who has the information they need? I mean, we need to do a better job of that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And trying to figure out what that needs to look like. I don't know what that answer is, but.
Right. Yeah.
You've got 3 board members here who have 3 more years after this one, or
Yes,
I guess, right?
that's correct.
And I'd like to see it get to a situation where the chairman and the vice chairman know what's going on, but I don't like seeing that chairman being the same person year after year after year. It doesn't give the public an image that the board is really a board. It takes on the identity oftentimes of the chairman. And I'd like to see one of the 3 members who have more time left, or 3 of us have 1 year left. I'd like to see one of those 3 members become the chairman, and that way then it can continue on, because who knows in a year whether any of the 3 of us will be back. But you don't lose a continuity for a couple of years if you keep those people in place.
I'd say you wouldn't lose the continuity if in this year anyways, because the new slate would come in next year. I mean, something to consider is, I mean, either way, I mean, you're not going to lose the continuity of anyone, because we're all here through this year, regardless of how election will go.
Well, I know it, and everything sounds fine, and like, maybe moving Marilyn up to that chair. Because I know last year, first meeting, we're going over this and we're going over the audit, and people asked me, boy, you were quiet. You just, I had people approach me and say, same old, because Blake was elected chair, but I had no clue. Did you too?
Yeah, no, I
mean,
think there definitely needs to be more than, here's your first meeting,
Your chair, it's a lot. It's a lot to take on.
And since we really don't have any structure around that, it's hard for anybody to prepare other than just being thrown in the deep end of the pool. So
I can't swim.
I do think long-term setting some structure around that, so there is.
Well, I have looked
more
at
preparedness for
Like,
whoever.
making the vice chair
and
one of the newer ones, or this year or something, I don't know.
and Leonard, to your comment, I like I said, even last year when I had said, just because of the organization of the new board members coming on, which was one of the reasons, but I will also say that it has not been a standard practice. There's been in the past where there has been a chair for multiple years at a time. So while sometimes we do go a year, or sometimes we go to a different time, right or wrong or indifferent. Again, my standpoint of last year was, boy, we got 3 board members coming on that are just getting to the thing. I have no problem, whether I serve as chair again or not again, or whoever serves chair. Again, it's just one vote, normal vote, everything like that. And I'm not saying that I am, I'm just saying that, it's really running the effective meeting and that's, meeting.
Yeah,
But having some kind of structure, we need
right,
something.
we know before
Yeah.
January meeting,
Right.
that we all can kind of envision what the coming year is gonna look
Right.
like.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what the future year looks like for whoever the chairman or vice is gonna be, you don't know until that night.
Right.
If we kind of start putting a structure and planning, I think that everybody can.
And it's something to talk about at board retreats, bring up to the idea of, where we're gonna go into, it's kind of the board policies of, envisioning what the next year. Like I said, I've talked to some of the, at ACCT, that some of the organizations put the chair in depending on their strength of expertise of what the board is wanting to obtain in the next years, whether it's to grow the college a certain way, but it happens to be in the medical field, somebody that tasked as a chair as a medical field, just because that's what they want to go after. Or if it's in automotive, they're again to have that little niche. And that's just one opportunity and one way, some
And
boards
maybe
do
this
it.
becomes part of our self-evaluation tool is our succession
Yeah.
planning for, the coming
Again,
year, just to make sure everybody's prepared. We can always change lanes if we need to.
Right.
But we gotta kind of pencil in a tentative plan so everybody can have whatever learnings they need in place day one instead of after the fact. And maybe
Right.
that would,
Right.
shrink up some of that
Sure.
learning curve you were
Yeah.
talking about.
Well, and I think we even talked about, we kind of alluded to last year, saying having the vice chair or something. This last year is no short of pandemonium. I mean, it just, everything kind of threw up in the clouds and, having that succession and leading into somebody, that's, there can be certainly more discussion about that. But I think, again, the way the HLC and the way I understood it, and certainly talking to Dr. Ruda, it's not that they're saying you have to do it this way or that way or anything. They just want a better reasoning when they come in and say, well, why'd you pick your chair here? And we can't just say, I don't know.
What they don't want is,
Well,
it's just the next man.
Yeah,
Next
yeah.
person up,
Because some people don't want to be chair or don't need to be chair or for whatever reason. So again, having that method in place, I think that's, again, one of those with self-board evaluation, we just establish that and build that a little bit more so that, we work with that. So.
It almost contradicts what we were just talking about, moving people from vice chair to chair, next person up, if they don't want that. But I think HLC is a good reason to discuss it, especially in a recent past.
And I
If we want a
don't
real
think
glowing
it has to be
deal.
necessarily a set formula of, we all take turns,
Right.
we go in alphabetical, that's not what I'm talking about. More of whoever, has interest in stepping up to that role going forward, making sure they get what they need. So, if and when that day comes, they're prepared for it and not.
And maybe this is out of turn, but Marilyn, as vice chair, are you interested in going to the chair or not?
Yes. I would say, for me, the most important reason for choosing your leader is for continuity of the administration, of continuing the vision of this board. Professionalism, I think, is still something that you have to consider, and knowledge, information about what's going on in as a board of trustee. So
Yeah.
the idea that the vice president moves up to the president is the knowledge,
Right.
learning and gaining.
And then
So-
whoever would move into the
Vice chair.
vice chair would have a chance for mentoring and
Yeah.
Yeah,
teaching.
Preparing to,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
And
even
I think before they would accept that nomination,
they'd have to have
they
that
need to be
understanding
Thinking that
that may
this
be
is
a.
what
Yeah.
transition and succession plan. will
And
be.
willing to do what they needed to
Well-
do to step into that role.
And the way the year ended, I mean, Dr. Ruda and I had even suggested, which not really, Marilyn's certainly experienced and even more experienced than I am in being on this board. But, something that I told Dr. Ruda too is going forward, and certainly discussing it with you guys is, if we do somehow do this as a chair and vice chair and have that, somebody that's interested in becoming that vice chair and going in, especially towards the last quarter, if not even halfway through the year, occasionally sitting in, with the president and the board chair during, the meetings. We've been meeting only before once a month before the board meeting to set the agenda and things like that, just to get them, again, acquainted with how this goes and what processes are in place, because that's going to shorten the learning curve as well. And so I think all those things, we just need to implement that. I mean, again, it's baby steps and making a plan to do stuff like that, I think
And
prepares us better.
in the endowment, completely different organization, but they do a 2-year term.
Mhm.
And the good part about that is, you're kind of learning that first year from your past president. And then that second year is more taking what you learned and passing that on to the current vice president to be ready to roll over. So,
I have served at the endowment board. I think I believe if the person has been a vice chair, moves to the chair, that's literally 2 years. I think you need to get another person in there as the vice chair. And then that person, if they don't feel at the end of that time that vice chair is ready to move up, fine.
Yeah.
But I think serving as chair and vice chair, there's your 2 years, guys.
okay.
Yep.
And I think it's time to bring new blood in then.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Especially where you get 4-year terms and
Yeah.
Mhm.
give more chances and keep it there and not just overload the new ones.
Well, and it almost makes it, because you'll have 3 people involved then, assuming everybody's in
Right,
a new
because you have
position.
the
You'll have
past
your past helping the new, and the new teaching the vice along the way, and then
Well,
everybody
you still have
steps
the-
one.
You still have the past chair.
Yeah, that's what I'm
to
saying,
advise,
that's your
yeah.
past, current, future, and then that helps maintain continuity without it being necessarily the same person, but it's the same learnings.
Well, I'm
Sounds
just,
like a plan to me.
I mean, I want to hear from everybody, but I certainly, Marilyn has showed interest. She's vice chair. I will go ahead and nominate Marilyn for the position of chair for the 2021 year.
I didn't hear you open it up for nomination.
Well, I'm opening up for nominations. I'm anyone else, I haven't closed for nominations. And if anyone else would so like to nominate anybody,
I'd like to nominate Beth Tedrow for chair.
I am really honored, but I think I could use a year of training. But whatever. I mean, I would be honored, but
Did you
You
have
know,
any?
every board member here is there every meeting. I don't know what more training you think you have to have. I don't think the chairman needs to have a private meeting with the president ever. Pretty soon it becomes, and that's what we had in the past before I got in here, the board was working for the president. The president wasn't working for the board. And that was coming from the individual conferences, president and chairman without, and I know of things that happened. Just the last board meeting, we were talking about someone in their position of their budget and everything that had already been discussed with the chairman. First I heard about it was in the meeting. The chairman shouldn't have any knowledge of that stuff prior to any other board member. And of course, the chairman's office was just fire him. Well, that's already setting a precedent and putting their own personal opinion out there that can direct the board before the board has any knowledge of what's going on.
Leonard, I'm gonna hold you to that. We're discussing stuff that was an executive session right there.
Understand?
No, you don't understand. You cannot say stuff like that outside of executive session.
You had a private meeting with the president. You've been having private meetings with the president.
We have once a month meetings to set the agenda.
Set the agenda.
That is a policy directive that the president or the chairman of the board sets the agenda. And it's in policy governance, and Leonard, it's been going on,
The way you want to do it, so go ahead.
Leonard, it's been going on for
That's right, it has been going on
Several
forever.
chairmen before
There's no
me.
reason that it can't change.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you that it's not such a bad idea.
Go with it.
Okay.
Well, is there any other, what are the suggestions for a better way to do the agenda then? Because if that's the point of these meetings, is there a better way to do that?
Well, isn't that stated in policy governance?
It is.
But the chairman will set the agenda with the president,
Yes.
I mean, this is.
or the president will listen to the
This
agenda.
is the board's agenda. This is the board's meeting. And so, what comes from that, there is the agenda there of.
But it's already in our directives, so. But I think what Leonard more leaning to was for how long did we do it every week? Up till the last couple of meetings.
There were times in the past, I did things to the chairman I wanted the board to know. It went from the chairman direct to the president without the board's knowledge. And that wasn't you, it was prior to that. Ended up getting to the point that the chairman interacts with the president on items that he shouldn't before the rest of the board is acknowledged of it.
I think that's just picking the right chairman and keeping open lines of communication.
And you really ought to be picking the chairman on their talents, their abilities, their knowledge, everything else. It's not a nice person vote you put in there.
I wouldn't question the knowledge or the ability of Marilyn or Beth.
I don't
To
think I
anyone.
questioned either one of them. I'm just saying that's how
I don't think we have
the
any
chairman
people on
should
the
be
board
chosen.
when it needs to be.
There's been 2 nominations or 2 motions that are without second right now.
Like I said, I would truly be honored and would love it, but I think I need direction, like from you or you as the chair. And I would love to be the vice chair, but I don't think I'm ready for the chair.
Okay.
And I'm very honored, Leonard.
We hear from Beth, so would there be,
Did you have any interest, Leonard?
No. Not the way it is.
Leonard, those comments are not productive. We talked about this in board retreats. I'm just gonna say it.
I don't need a lecture, Blake.
Okay.
I propose that we take a 5-minute break,
Okay.
if that's okay with you, Chair.
We do a motion for it.
I make
I'll
a-
second that
Yeah, I make a motion that we take a 5-minute break.
and second that. All of those favors say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
What is the motion?
A 5-minute recess.
I'm sorry?
A 5-minute recess.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. This is Blake, aye.
Shanda, aye.
Marilyn, I.
Beth, I.
David, I.
Leonard, I.
Okay. It is 6:44. We'll reconvene at 6:49.
Is that his daughter or his daughter-in-law?
No, it's his
Daughter.
daughter.
Yeah. Yeah, Sydney.
Sydney was, I can't remember what her name was when she was in my class.
It was Sydney then too.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it was Sydney, but her last name was Sassaman. She hadn't got married yet.
She's,
She's doing an awesome job.
Yeah.
She's.
She's Lonnie's daughter.
I was thinking of his daughter-in-law because
No,
when she was out the front desk, I
I think
recognized
she got
her.
married after that, hasn't she?
Well, when she was in my class, it had a
No, she's
different
not.
name.
She's not married here yet.
Who's this?
Maybe it was, I don't know. Had so many
I'm not
students
married.
wonder.
I'm not very good.
Me either. Haven't been for the last 37 years.
Okay, I got 6:49. We'll reconvene. Discussion is still on the selection of the chair for the 2021.
I was wondering if it's not a violation of COMA or any policy, what if the other board members rotated in with the chair and the president's meeting? So maybe David takes February, Leonard takes March, I'll take April, and then nobody feels like it's a private one-on-one conversation? I
It wouldn't
mean,
be a violation of common because not more
well,
than majority is.
but then nobody felt like it was something that's a routine, just the two of them thing. If there was a board member feeling like they had something they wanted to address on the agenda, they had a chance to voice that. I mean, would this help solve some of these issues?
I don't see an issue, but I don't see it being a problem either. I mean, that's,
But
yeah, I mean, I get this.
perception and comfort
perception.
level means a lot, and if that would help, it'd be worth trying.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
I'd be willing to go along with the chairman and the vice chairman. If they have to be a meeting with the president, I'd be willing to see the chairman and the vice chairman have access to that sit down with the president. I don't think that violates any problem anywhere.
More training.
Yeah, it is, more training.
Well, and just more background and knowledge
As long as you
and,
don't have four of them in there, then
Correct.
it wouldn't
Right.
be
Yeah, you're
violating the coma.
correct.
so maybe we kind of look at the structure of that and maybe that would help.
well, like I said, there, and, you know, not that I feel like I need to defend myself, but the fact is, when I came on as chair, we were in a less than ideal space. And myself wanted to get a handle on things. Dr. Ruda was a new president. Per se, we were both in the same sling, kind of getting things. And so it was under my discretion that I felt like we needed to meet on a monthly basis, because in the past, some board chairs hadn't met in the past, and I felt like that was needed at the time. Maybe we did carry it on a bit longer than necessary. We discussed that in a board retreat. Pamela brought it to our attention that that wasn't necessary. We had immediately changed that. Felt like it was working good, but again, not that I feel like there's any kind of problem, but I think it is good training. Yeah, put the president and vice president or vice chair and chair in there. You'll see that it's nothing more than setting the agenda and making sure that if there needs to be something brought to the board in the meantime between the board or just at least notification, then that appropriate channels are set out.
Well,
So,
and as human nature, your biggest fear is the fear of the unknown. And if we remove some of the unknown, it removes
sure.
some of those what ifs.
Absolutely.
So,
I'd also remind you that no business is conducted in those meetings.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's merely informational sharing. And remind you also that the presidents have been good about sending weekly notices out to all of us about what's going on. So you are kept informed of what's happening each week through the weekly memos.
Well, I just asked too, any of you have ever met with President Bruda on your own time?
Yeah, I have.
So what's the difference?
Right.
I'm not the chairman.
I don't have any more vote than you do.
I think we have made good strides, but we're still suffering from fear that was before. And evidently we have to make few more strides in trust among ourselves. And that's one of the things we talked about in our board retreat was learning to trust each other. So
I also think it's a good idea to let go of the past, guys. I mean, we're talking 3 years ago now. We don't need to keep bringing that up.
Absolutely. We had discussion about that too, so.
You've heard what I said. I don't believe I'm ready. I appreciate the faith that Leonard has in me, and hopefully he'll keep it. But I would like to second the nomination for Marilyn to go from vice chair to chair for the coming year.
Okay, I have,
That
I
was
have
a second.
yeah, I have a motion and a second for Marilyn to be chair for the 2021 year. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We'll do a roll call. This is Blake, aye.
Shanda, aye.
Marilyn, aye.
Beth, aye.
David,
Leonard, and I abstain.
Okay, motion passes. Marilyn, you are officially the chair for the remainder of the year. So I'll pass the baton to you
Thank you.
and let you conduct the rest of the meeting as you see fit.
Well, I would first say thanks to Blake for doing an excellent job for leading meetings, and for me, my tutelage was about keeping things succinct and short and getting to the point. So with that, I will open nominations for vice chair.
I'll nominate Beth Tedrow.
I'll second that. Any other nominations? Yes.
Okay, hearing none, we have a motion and a second for Beth Tedrow as vice chair. Please all signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? And we'll do a roll call again. Beth? Go ahead. I'm
Am I
sorry.
supposed to vote for myself? Aye.
David,
Leonard, I.
Blake, aye.
Shanda, aye.
Marilyn, aye. All right.
Thank you for your confidence, everybody.
You'll do a great job.
Oh, that's all. Sorry. All right, clerk can you explain that position? Or is it listed twice? Clerk and deputy clerk?
Yeah, clerk is.
President,
I thought
I don't know,
past it's
really
been the
good.
president.
No, that's the secretary.
No, yeah, the clerk is really, I mean, it's one, as we look back there, I mean, it's not, it hasn't been designated for the last several years. I mean, really,
It's just,
it's more for, as it's kind of outlined there, it's more for help and direction on parliamentary procedures.
Oh,
It's
okay.
help for, you know, kind of the clerk of the board is one that helps to ensure that there is consistency with communication. But a lot of that's really more on the parliamentary side. So, yeah, like I said, we've looked back, I mean, there hasn't been a designee for this position in the last 2 years at least.
Okay. Let's skip that one and we'll may come back to that. So we have the positions of KACCT representative and Economic Development Corporation representative. I was thinking we could keep those together. Nominations are open.
I don't want to be,
I'll nominate
Demanding.
Beth for K.
but
I will. I nominate Beth as KCCT representative and economic development. Keep David Rupp. Those positions are kind of one of those, you're just getting in the feel of
Just
it
getting in the groove.
and setting a groove of it, yeah. So,
my skills on
PowerPoint.
Zoom, they're getting a little better.
Okay, so we have a motion to nominate Beth Tedrow for KACCT representative, David Rupp for Economic Development Corporation. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
You have a second? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, let's do a roll call.
Aye. Beth.
David, I.
Leonard, I.
Blake, I.
Shanda, aye.
Marilyn, aye. Thank you, guys. Okay,
I just have a question,
yes.
not to ask Blake this, but with the Zoom and is there anything that we can just do a roll call instead of doing all in favor and going back and redoing, skipping that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so
Just
that's a
do the roll
good
call.
clerk question, Dave.
Yeah.
And I don't have the answer to that, so, okay.
I would think it, David, it would be in the interest of the transparency, because when everybody says it together, maybe I didn't want to.
No, I don't want to do that one part.
I think
wanna
he's
just
saying
do the
skip
roll call.
straight to the roll call
He's just doing the roll
instead of
call.
doing aye.
Skipping that all at once,
Whatever.
like we do in open meetings.
Okay. The appointments is the next section in our agenda. And I feel like we can continue, just proceed and renew.
I'll make a motion to approve appointments A through G.
Yeah, thank you.
Do we need a second person designated agent for keepers?
Yes, we do. And I recommend that that be Pam Arms.
Okay, so let's do A, B, C, E, F, G first. And then we'll come back to D. How's that?
Good.
Okay,
Okay, I'll amend my motion to appointments A through G, removing D.
That's David, I'll second.
hearing no other nominations, we have a motion and a second to approve the appointments A, B, C, E, F, G. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, we'll do a roll call. Beth?
Aye.
David, I.
Leonard, I.
Blake, I.
Shanda, aye.
Marilyn, aye. Thank you. All right, we'll go back to D of the appointments, the designated agent for keepers. And
Pam Harms is our payroll coordinator.
I'll make a motion for Pam Harms as designated alternate for capers.
I will second that motion for
Well,
Pam
the
Harms,
alternate or?
for the alternate.
Yeah.
Designated.
I said it backwards, designated alternate, alternate designated,
designated agent.
designated agent. Oh, see, now I'm down a line.
Hearing no other nominations, all those in favor of Pam Harms for designated agent for capers, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Roll call. Beth?
Aye.
David,
Aye.
I.
Leonard, I.
Blake, I.
Shanda, aye.
Marilyn, aye. Thank you. For the remaining slate of let's go depositories and authorized signatures. Are you guys comfortable doing those together?
Yes.
I make a motion that we approve under the depositor designations A, B, and C. Are we roping in D together or we discussion about that?
I was gonna
Okay,
leave
okay.
D out.
Oh, okay, so A, B, and C for the 2021, leave them the same as presented.
So I have a motion
I second that motion.
and we have a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor of leaving the designations for A, B, and C the same, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All
Beth.
those opposed?
Beth, I. No, I'm not opposed.
I knew.
Leonard, I.
Blake, aye.
Shanda, I.
Marilyn, aye. Thank you. Okay, one left, the professional service, the college attorney.
I'd like to ask that we do an investigation and see if there is another attorney that we would like to retain in this position. I don't know if anybody's, there's the Schultz firm and there are several other firms. I would like to see us investigate retaining a different attorney as an attorney of representation for this institution.
Did you put a motion on that?
All right, I'd like to see some discussion. Now, I've known the college attorney Randy Griselle for years. And to my knowledge, he is the only one in the city that has the experience with school law and, you know, I mean, he's right in the middle of our other legal proceedings and stuff. It's just my opinion.
Have we investigated the attorneys here to see if they have expertise in that?
Well, from what I've talked with attorneys when I was on my other position, none of them had.
Well,
So that's, you know, been a couple of years.
would it be wise to have a plan B at least, you know, people retire or move or, you know, all the time. Would it maybe be prudent to look into this a little closer? So, you know, if at least that were to happen, we're a little better prepared than starting from scratch.
I feel like now's not a good time to change attorneys, considering all the things that are going on right now. But if we want to plan for something like that for the future, we need to do that
Like in June or
a
July.
year in advance or 6 months in advance or something like that.
So
'Cause
maybe,
if we have an alternate, it's gonna cost us more than that on return.
well, even knowing who we would go to, who would, you know. So it just,
Find out
it never
expertise.
hurts to, you know, investigate what's out there. Like I said, you never know.
Are you, go, I'm sorry,
sorry.
go ahead.
I would echo what Dave said, but to Leonard's defense, I don't think there's anything wrong about maybe putting a note out there and saying anybody has expertise, please let us know. I just don't think you're gonna find it, but I don't think that I think you put it out there and see if anybody bites at it and says, yeah, you know, we have expertise, this is what we can handle, and maybe have them come in and you know, present themselves. But again, and to what Marilyn said too, and certainly with everything going on, you just don't jump ship with one attorney to another attorney mid litigation or mid, you know, suits or anything.
Well,
and
I don't even think that's what's being brought up. To me, the bigger point is that we are where we are because that's the place we feel best at. But we can't honestly say that if we haven't researched all the options.
Right.
And I'd like to be able to say, this is what we're doing because this is what fits best for us right now, not because that's what we've always done. So to Leonard's point, if we look into these other things, then we'll be able to satisfy that question a little
Whether
better
we
than
want
the
to table it for a
position.
month or two.
The insurance companies have the attorney that's making the decision. Our attorney is just an intermediary. I hear lots of comments You have an attorney that's also the attorney for the school districts, also the attorney for
The city, I think.
2 different places. Why? I can't answer. I know that it is a negative point in the community. We want to ignore them, that's fine.
Are you making a motion?
No. I said I would like to see someone do some investigation if there's somebody else out there that is interested, that has the expertise. Now, if you need that in the form of a motion, I'll make a motion that we have somebody do that.
Okay,
So
so
we have the
let's,
president.
let's stay on
Check on
task. Yeah, let's stay on task and take care of this first. And then we
You asked
can-
me.
And then we can proceed with your request as a different item.
Say, can we table this for a month or two?
I'm not
while
sure,
they
you-
do
I'm not
that?
sure you
I
can
don't
table
think we
not
can, Dave.
having an attorney for a month.
Yeah.
Well, he'd still be our attorney for, until that time was up, but we tabled it.
And
wouldn't
I would say that your
If we're not
motion
gonna
needs,
change or vote on it there at this point there, then it would continue until such change by
Right.
the board has been made.
right.
he? Well,
I just was asking to have someone do some investigation on it. We haven't.
that would give time anyway.
And I think it's a good point. I know before he was the only one in town, but that's been a while.
Let's get back on task, guys.
Well, I would move that we reappoint Randy this year and establish a committee to look farther. Or whatever.
Is that the board's task
The board's ready, or you?
Yes, the president.
or asking the president?
Asking the
We
president.
could ask the president to look into it. Leonard, do you want to help me?
Again, you guys are trying to take on some administrative tasks.
See, and that's why I need training, Leonard.
I would say we could go ahead and proceed with your motion, and then let's do a separate
Gotcha.
request to our president, if you guys
That's
are okay
fine.
with that,
That's fine.
to evaluate any other attorneys
Okay,
that may be willing to
let
help.
me straighten out my motion. I move that we name Randy Grizel as the college attorney.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to retain Randy Grizel as the college attorney. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Okay, roll call.
Beth, I.
David,
Leonard, negative.
Blake, aye.
Shanda, I.
Marilyn, aye. So we have 5 in support of and 1 against, so.
But I would
Go ahead.
like to see this homework, however we need
Yeah.
to assign that. I'm with you on that.
Okay. I would move that our president look into the, how was it? Ascertain if there are other attorneys that have a knowledge of school.
you want certain requirements with that, Beth, as far as location,
Well, what I
like
said was,
locally or not Topeka or?
nobody's gonna move to Garden City to be
Well,
Garden
that's what I
City
mean.
Community College. I would, because there could be somebody in the area, so I will leave it like I said. I move that the board allocate or recommend that the president establish or explore,
Can I make a suggestion?
yes,
I mean, essentially what I think you are asking is we're wanting to bring back or develop a request for qualifications. an
Yes.
RFQ.
right,
Qualifications of whatever parameters, so we can, if I hear what you're saying there, direct me to come back with
That would be
the
good.
request for qualifications that you can review, determine if it has all the aspects you want to have into it, revise it.
That's what I wanted to say. That's what I meant to say.
Okay,
If he should happen to decide to resign at the end of this year, you're gonna be in the same boat you're in right now. You don't know if there's anybody out there.
Well,
Have
that,
any idea?
and that's a good
Great.
point.
It is.
Yeah,
that's why I
that's a
made
good
that
point.
recommendation that we charge the president with exploring the field.
I think you always need a
That's the
plan
main
B for
reason I
everything.
bring this up is because we don't know if Randy might be thinking about retiring. And if he isn't, or if he is, he's not gonna be our attorney then. So what are you gonna do then?
Always
You're
need
gonna
a
go
plan
run
B
around
for
trying to find
everything.
somebody. Oh, we don't know if there's anybody here.
Okay.
I would recommend that we try to keep it local.
All right.
So the request, if I get this straight, and Dr. Ruda, the request is more or less getting an RFQ back to the board to make sure that we're satisfied with the requirements, and then that gets sent out. Is that correct?
That is
So,
correct.
okay,
Are you guys okay with that? I don't think we need a motion for that,
okay, yeah,
so
just charge it with that, because we'll make a motion if,
To
approve
this.
that,
Okay.
yeah.
all right. So our organization of officers are complete. Moving on to confirmation of monitoring reports.
Page
Page
35 or 34, 33? 33.
All right, the first one that we're reviewing is the biannual, so twice a year we review the general executive constraints. Number 7, is that what we?
We're on the wrong page. Aren't we supposed to go to
No,
9?
Yeah, that's in your policy governance book. But everything's listed here on page 33. So
Right,
the only thing I had, and I mentioned it to Jody, is before we approve these minutes next month, is getting the correct date up there on the top. 21 instead of 20.
I told Jody when those things happen, we just say, thank you for reading.
Knowing other
She
people
feels
do
so
too.
bad. I said, we all make mistakes, just say, thank you for reading. Helping me out.
We know how busy you are. And being the first of the year, that
That's
happens a
actually
lot.
my fault because I gave this to her. So I will take the
okay, so we are starting with asset protection, which is on page 33, right?
Right.
Are you guys with me? Okay, so that is A3. So I'll let you just take a minute to review it and see if you have any questions about the interpretation. The president shall not fail to insure against property and casualty losses or against liability losses to board members, staff, or the organization itself in an amount prudent and advisable under Kansas law.
I believe the CEO's interpretation covers it all.
Yeah.
And listing all the insurance that we have.
Any thoughts, any comments? Moving on to asset protection number 2, the president shall not allow unbonded personnel access to significant amounts of funds. I think we're pretty well insured there, and there's the addendum that the insurance all persons are covered. Employees are bonded by, their agent is IMA, treasury bond, blanket bond, public employee dishonesty coverage is provided, and all persons are covered by that particular policy. Questions? I'm not an insurance person, so. All right, the next asset protection number 3, the president shall not fail to provide proper oversight of the physical plant. We're on page 35. And I'll let you review his interpretation if you have any questions or comments. If you had a chance to look at the thumb drive that the president gave us last time, there's a good plan in there for the deferred maintenance and the vision of the college and the things that have been done, the things that are planned in the next few years. So I think they do a good job of that. Number 4 on page 36, the president shall not unnecessarily expose the organization, its board or staff to claims of liability. Comments? Asset protection number 6, the president shall not receive, process, or disperse funds under controls that are insufficient to meet the auditor's standards. Pretty black and white. Number 7, the president shall not acquire or dispose of assets valued over $50,000. Any of the purchases are over $50,000 are run through the board business. And there's not been any disposal of assets. Comments, questions? You guys are okay with that? We'll proceed. We are on A2, information and advice. A biannual monitoring report. The president shall not permit the board to be unaware of relevant trends, anticipated adverse media coverage, actual or anticipated legal actions, significant external and internal changes, particularly changes in the assumption upon which any board policy has previously been established. We have a good track record of the president communicating with us with his weekly updates, as well as on a urgent and emergent basis when he needs to. We are on page 38, the next one. The president shall not fail to advise the board if, in the president's opinion, the board is not in compliance with its own policies on governance process and board president relationship, particularly in the case of board behavior which is detrimental to the work relationship between the board and the president.
Chairman, the only thing I see on that, it says page 9 in our policy governance, it's actually page 13.
In the policy manual. Yeah, I'm reading from,
Right, but that's what I'm saying, that he changed.
Well, and I think this has changed since we got this printout, so that may.
Well, this was the new book that we got, so.
Okay.
but to the
But everything else, it's
To the
fine to me.
indicator, it's okay, all right. No incidents have been reported, okay. The next one on page 39 in our book, information and advice, the president shall not fail to deal with the board as a whole, except when fulfilling or responding to individuals or committees duly charged by the board. Okay, hearing no comments, I would say we accept these reports as presented,
A second, Beth.
and we don't have to motion it.
Oh, but thank you. Oh, I thought I heard you say I moved. I'm getting sleepy again.
Okay. Did we do general executive constraint number 7?
No, number 7. I'm
Wait,
going
God.
to ask, I'm gonna ask that we move that to February.
Okay.
We're finishing the audit and working through that with auditors here this month. So
Okay,
we will roll that into February.
that sounds good. Jody, you got that?
Yeah, that's the one we had discussed also about the in-town or local and the amount.
Okay, we are moving on in our agenda, reviewing monitor reports. We don't have any to review because last month we didn't have any presented. So we are on open comments from the public. Is there anything? No? Okay. President's report.
Yeah, just a few things to update you on. Dr. Wassinger had alluded to this in his opening comments, but the Upward Academy celebration back in December was able to attend the Upward Academy, which is a program that we have in partnership and collaboration with Tyson Foods. It's an adult learning education program where we have Tyson employees that are taking English as second language courses, working towards your GED, citizenship, and other life and workplace skills classes. Currently, they're using the college's mobile lab as their classroom on site at the Tyson plant. But prior to Christmas break, I've gone out and we had a properly social distanced graduation, if you would, there where we had over 20 Tyson employees that were recognized for making educational gains in their English language acquisition.
Wow.
So it's a great ceremony. Tyson does a tremendous job of really promoting and incentivizing this program for their employees who come out to the classroom immediately following their shift at the plant. So they're very dedicated students and ones that we're very excited about being able to be honored there with their educational achievements. Also wanted just to update you since we did have the fall semester end with students right before Thanksgiving break. It did give us an opportunity to do some projects and just wanted to update the board on where those projects are at. We've had the cooling tower replacement project that is in process. Currently, Tate Construction is removing our existing HVAC cooling towers, and the installation of the new cooling towers will begin the first part of February. But the project is expected to be completed within 75 days of the board approval at the last board meeting. We also, over this break, put in a esports classroom over in the Beth Tedder Student Center. So we have transformed the theater room in the basement into the new esports game room, classroom that has brand new track lighting, signage, as well as new computers and stations there for the students. They will have their spring competition season in this new esports arena. Criminal justice classrooms, our maintenance department worked over break and removed existing flooring, painted, installed new lighting, new ceiling grids in the criminal justice laboratory. And then we had J&M that came in and put in new laminate flooring. So went over and saw this project Carla and I did there today, and it's turned out very good. And it's a very good updated facility there for the criminal justice program. And they have some additional equipment that they're going to be moving in here in the next week to get this set up. We also remodeled our business office, again, put in new carpet, painted, and then also installed new privacy cubicles in the main office. to be able to have private consultations with students, clients or families when they come into the business office. And then we also put in a new classroom in the technical building, one that was previously used as a office space. We renovated and turned in to a new classroom that will now be used by our carpentry program. So they've actually started using that as of yesterday and have the classroom there that will be for any program to use, but primarily for the carpentry program.
Which room was that?
So it's the classroom at the very north end of the building, right across from where FinUp Lab used to be.
Okay.
So it used to be our institutional research.
Or welding was there for a while?
Where welding was at for a while, yep. Mhm. And then the last project is the access control project. The software has been installed, hardware has been installed. And so then we'll begin to start going through and doing training for students, faculty, and staff this month on the new access control system. So a lot of work, a lot of effort that's been done in a short amount of time. And I do want to commend the work of the maintenance IT staff that were out here over break and put in the time over their Christmas break there to be able to get these projects up and running there for us as we come into the spring semester.
Are they gonna be using key fobs or ID cards?
No, it's actually going to be as part of the,
Phone?
it's going to be with the phone, so it'll be part of the app that we have, the Garden City Community College app. It'll be embedded within that. So they just hold their phone up there to it and it would.
So they won't probably lose it then?
Correct, yeah.
Let's hope.
Well, we'll be buying a new phone then.
We'll be buying a new phone. And then the last point, just of acknowledgement or recognition, this month is National School Board Appreciation Month. So I know that the pay is not great there for board members, but wanted to recognize with the Penn set there, the work and the effort and time that you put in there to help guide the college.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. I like you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for tripling our wage too.
Absolutely, yeah. Triple of zero is still zero.
I know.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Incidental information, we already reviewed. Any thoughts, comments? All right, report from Finney County Economic Development.
No real progress or helping out on several projects as far as more housing. We are having our meeting Zoom for a while now. Again,
What's the situation with Tom?
he shows up to every meeting and he's just, you know,
Okay,
I know his health has kind of gone bad on him, and I didn't know if he's still,
Leonard.
he's the
Yeah.
chairman.
Yeah.
he's still good.
yeah, let's not talk about that.
He seems to be okay to me.
Okay. Report from KACCT.
Usually our next meeting is in conjunction with the Phi Theta Kappa. At this point, there is no date. They're trying, that I know of, they're trying to do something, whether it's by Zoom, whatever, to recognize our Phi Theta Kappa students, honor students, but at this point, I have no information. I know we're not going to Topeka.
Yeah, right. I would ask you to just to give us updates when you get them regarding any legislative
Yeah, will do,
action.
will do.
Okay. Report from SGA.
I do think we have Taryn, who's joined us.
Okay.
There she is.
Hello, how are you guys?
Hi, Taryn. Thank you for coming on. Tell us what's going on.
Okay, so today was actually our first meeting. So we decided to meet on Tuesday.
We're not hearing you very good. Can you get
volume up?
closer to your mic?
Can you hear me now?
No.
No.
You're still a little muffled.
Andrew, help.
Andrew.
Try talking now, Terry.
Can you hear me now?
It's better.
Sounds like it's on
Barely.
your end.
Yeah, it's not on our side.
Good jail.
We'll just
Talk
have to
very
talk
loud.
loudly.
Okay. Can you hear me?
A little better.
Okay, so today was our first meeting and SGA decided to meet on Tuesdays at 4. Every other Tuesday we'll meet with other clubs, and when the other clubs are involved, we will be on Zoom. So some events that we have coming up is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So for that, we do have April Rain. She is going to be on Zoom, and teachers will be required to have that Zoom up for students to watch. So it does start at 10, and I'll introduce her, and then she will give her speech, and then SGA will ask questions behalf of the college and students, and then so it will last until 11, and then 11 to 11:20 SGA will have their own time with her to ask questions. And so that is our big event coming up. And then we planned out some smaller events throughout the semester today. Some events for January and February are January 27th is National Chocolate Cake Day. So we're going to hand out like little cupcakes. We still haven't figured out all the details. We're gonna talk to the CAF and everything and make sure that we still go with the guidelines of COVID and how to package everything and hand them out and stuff. Then on February 7th, we are going to hand out cards that were made by the students to nursing homes. So the 4th and 5th, students will have a chance to come and make cards, and SGA will deliver them the 7th to the ranch house, the cottages, Homestead, and Garden Valley. And then for Valentine's Day, we decided to have a Make It Take It Valentine's. So the Friday before, which is the 12th, we will have cards where they can make and little treats that they can make for their Valentine. And then, so last semester, I talked to you guys about our dog run and how the Humane Society was supposed to bring dogs, and we were going to have a big dog run for the students. However, since the numbers went up, Humane Society decided to back down for that moment. And so National Walk Your Dog Day is February 22nd. So I will begin to contact the Humane Society and see if we can continue with that event on that day. So that is all the events that we have for that month and February.
Any questions for Taryn?
Busy start of the semester.
Yes.
Give just a brief, Karen, can you give a brief overview just of the speaker or their background maybe there?
Yeah. So what I was kind of looking for was someone who was still going to like encourage the students and stuff, but I didn't want to start a political debate or have any disagreement on our decision. So I thought that April was a good decision because she talked about like, so we watched a video and it was about the difference in being an ally versus being an accomplice. And then she added action by using privilege to overcome injustice. And then so in her speech title, some of her hashtags were Oscar so white, Black Twitter, and social media is pursuing justice in the digital age. So we haven't got the exact speech that she's going to give out yet, but once we do get that, we will figure out some questions to ask her. Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thank you guys.
We're glad you're back.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Thanks.
You too.
All right, faculty senate report. Hi, Perla.
Hi, hello everybody, good evening. I hope everybody's doing good. Those are really big shoes to follow. She did a wonderful job and they are getting very, very busy at the start of the semester. On the other hand, unfortunately, I wasn't able to be at the college for a lot of last week. So we haven't, faculty senate hasn't met just yet. My goal is to meet by the end of the week or at the latest sometime next week. But I know faculty is working hard with the beginning of the semester, and I know a lot are currently trying to enroll students or advise students to get those numbers up. I know I saw a lot of my numbers went up yesterday and today, so that's really good. And we are working on finishing our collaborative course assessments. Those are not due until the end of January since we're waiting on some numbers from the high school on the dual credit classes. But I know that faculty is definitely working hard on the collaboratives that we can do with the data from the college, as well as working hard on the new modalities. I know I have a couple of classes that are Buster Classic, as well as still doing the stream. And there are some online classes. So there's a little bit of everything going on, and faculty is trying to do their best to start the semester great, because we know it's going to be a little bit difficult with the sports coming in and out. But that is another thing that is also going on that is a really great thing. We have great communication currently with our sports and athletics side. We've gotten the schedule for all the sporting events. We know that things change in a moment notice, but so far everything that they know, they have shared with faculty, also faculty senate. And Mark, thank you so much. We've shared the Zoom guidelines for our Zoom students, as well as the quarantine guidelines that we worked on at the end of last semester. So a lot going on, and hopefully more to come in the upcoming meetings. Any questions about anything?
Okay, so we are doing this kind of hybrid stuff like we did last fall, right, semester. And then I appreciate, everybody's nodding, good job. The comment about working with athletics, because that's going to be challenging, I think.
Yes, we as faculty know that it is going to be difficult, but everybody has been very good so far at being able to communicate back and forth. I really appreciate all the help that we got from administration at the beginning, or kind of the middle of last semester, on making that bridge and making those connections, just making sure that athletics and faculty have a good working relationship, because we're really going to need it this semester. We're going to be tested for sure.
Right, right. Is everybody healthy, as far as you know?
As far as I know, yes. Everybody seems healthy, and I was very excited to see all my students back. It was nice to drive in on Monday morning and actually have a parking lot that was full of cars. And I told that to every single one of my classes. I told them teachers have been coming to school with empty buildings, and it just kind of feels a little creepy. So it's really nice to have people in the buildings.
Right. Okay, any other questions for Perla or faculty? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, I was just gonna add, do we have or ask COVID, any cases since coming back?
So we've, as in the fall semester, tested all students prior to check-in in the residence halls. We did have 3
Oh, man.
positives there, so we have, one of them was close enough in proximity that they went home. We do have 2 that are in isolation.
So they were asymptomatic.
And what?
They were asymptomatic.
Okay,
So the numbers on the web is wrong, because it shows 5.
Well, that includes employees there as
Employees.
well.
Okay.
So, yeah. Yeah, no, that's updated accurately every Monday. Yeah.
great. All right, ownership linkage. Does anybody have anything they would like to share? Okay. Hearing none, we are having an executive session. I'll let you read the motion.
Madam Chair, I move that the board recess into executive session to discuss potential properties to be acquired pursuant to the open meetings exception for preliminary discussion relating to acquisition of real property, and that our president, Dr. Ryan Ruda, and vice president Carla Armstrong be included. The open meeting will resume here in the president's conference room in 30 minutes at
It's 7:44, so it would be 8:14.
to resume at 8:14.
I'm sorry?
Did we have a 5-minute break before?
Okay, we'll say 8:20. How's that?
8:20 to 8:40.
Okay,
I'll second that.
thank you. I have a motion and a second to go into executive session. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Roll call.
Beth, I.
David, I.
Leonard,
Blake, aye.
Shanda, I.
Marilyn, aye. All right, thank you.
What to say?
Pardon me?
So
You're so good. Movie.
No. we can say the second section started again at 7:50.
When you get home, take your sweater off, Cat, cautiously. Maybe in there somewhere.
She said, Marilyn said she saw it about to fall out. These things are supposed to
I
be
did the
tight.
top of your sleeve.
Good eye.
There it is.
Oh my goodness.
See the end sticking out?
Good eye.
How about that? Tell them to quit looking.
But surely not what they're doing, are they?
That's unreal. She saw that.
It's on the top of her sweater.
She saw the wire hanging out.
When you took your mask off, it probably caught in there.
Yeah, you went like this.
Yeah,
And it hooked and
I
came
know
right
lots
out.
of times I feel like I'm gonna yank my earring out.
I know.
Goes off.
Shelley would have killed me. She bought them for him for Christmas.
All right, guys, we are back from executive session and I want you to know that there was no action taken and I believe we are at the point where we can adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Okay, thank you for coming,
Thank you.
Blake. Thank you for your excellent leadership and
And thank you for
Appreciate
stepping up and everyone.
You see the comments now? Well, once you go mute.
Andrew, you wanna